Hey everybody, Dave Raw, D-Dog for Dynamic Rainmakers. Friday night, first full week of September, uh, September 9th, 69 degrees. It was in the 90s yesterday, 69 degrees right now. Tonight, 12 stops. First stop, 2 frozen samples. I've never gotten completely frozen ones. So you have to, even though it's not on dry ice, you still pack it with its own cool packs that are frozen. I always start out with frozen ones. And since there were 2 of them, one has actually had a frozen cool pack taped to it, and the other one was in the freezer itself. So I got those out. I put them in its own sample bag with an extra freezer pack to make sure that it stays frozen. I've only got one of those one other time, but they're not dry ice, they're just frozen at regular freezer temperatures. So, not too much has been going on. This was a short week because Monday was a holiday. I took a couple days off from my 9 to 5 and did courier runs those 2 nights, however. So that kind of balanced things out. Like I said, not too much going on. Because of tomorrow's scheduling, it looks like I might be able to go with the cargo vans. I don't know. It's hard to say anymore. I'm trying to find something decent. That's been really hard. And trying to get a reasonable price, that's hard. I really don't want to go to a dealer because that's hard. Everything's hard. It's trying to get a vehicle for doing this stuff. But I am getting ready to list in more details for potential vehicles on Master Courier List. So we'll see what happens with that. It's been kind of, I don't know, that this has been an odd week because like yesterday there were hardly any samples. Today, one I usually get samples from, none. And that first one, like I said, was 2 frozen ones. So that tells you right there you need to keep cool packs with you. I have some hard shell cool packs. I also have what they call soft shell. They're more like a plastic bag that have a coolant material in them. Those are the ones I don't mind giving away. However, I don't like giving away my hard packs. One of the situations that occurred last week was I had to give up one of my cooler bags. They're a bag, it's an insulated material that has like a zipper on the top. You primarily use them for things like food deliveries and stuff, but I got a bunch of them to do this type of work just in case. The reason I had to give up one of my bags was because the final stop I usually go to also leave all my stuff at my transfer stop, they didn't have a lockbox out, so I had nowhere to put it. I had to put it in the bag and take it to another nearby place. But the problem with that place was that the actual lockbox was way too small for the amount of samples I had. I think I had like 35 or so samples, and that poor little thing could only hold maybe at most 15. It was really small. And you have that cooler pack that's in there. So most of these places that have these really small lock boxes don't get much business, or they don't have many samples day to day. So they use a smaller one. This other one that I do my transfer drop off, they do a lot of sometimes really huge samples. They're in gallon containers that are made to handle that, or They put them in pint containers that are made for that. It's just kind of interesting. You never know how big the things are going to be. Somebody was recently asking, well, they have a couple of older vehicles. They want to use their vans. You really don't need a van for this type of stuff. I'm just using my Jeep, but that's fine if they have a couple of vans they want to start doing this. First of all, you need to contact your local courier groups by getting that on Google and asking for courier companies near me and seeing what's out there. Usually when you have a van, you'll probably end up doing larger things like 5-gallon commercial paint, sometimes machine parts, sometimes large tote boxes of whatever. So I've had to carry water samples from the city of Colorado Springs up to the north part of Colorado to be tested. Those are pretty big. Those are, I'd say, like almost, I don't know, 35-gallon coolers. They're big. They're heavy too once they have stuff in them. So if you want to do that, you can use older vehicles like that. Just keep them maintained. And that's all you need, really. If you wanted to do intrastate courier work or intrastate expediting work, those vans could work too, depending on how you're going to set yourself up. I don't know what size of van they have, so it's kind of hard to know. There's some other things that you need to keep in mind too. When you're just doing regular courier work like I am, you're usually covered under the company you're driving for, so you don't need to worry about that on the courier stuff. However, they do make you have your regular automotive insurance, just like you would for any vehicle, and they'll spell out how much you need. But if you want to get into the light freight stuff, that's a whole other thing, because they want you to have cargo insurance, not just the commercial insurance. They want you to have at least $100,000 of cargo insurance, $1 million of liability, and some even require workman's comp. I think it's $1 million on a workman's comp as well. So you need to have some reserve money built up, because they're going to be running out of cash pretty quickly because of insurances. That's not cheap stuff, but you might get a little bit better rates if you've been, a good driver for a period of time, and you are an older person. There are certain things that will give you reduced rates. It depends on where you're located, your zip codes, what happens in those areas, because that kind of determines their actuaries. So, you can check that out. I'm understanding that some of these larger companies, like, what's the one I'm under? See, I'm working under different companies, but they're all under like a major company. I work under one group called Lab Logistics, and I'm running that to do this current one, but I'm like a third tier sub, because there's another company, Antec is a group I'm actually picking up for. So it just depends on how you set yourself up. I am running as my own business. That's a requirement anyway. You have to have some type of a entity, a 1099 or something like that. I'm running an LLC, so that's the way my company is set up. But it allows me to work with other groups, like American Expediting is one of them. I haven't done very little for them so far, but I'd like to get back into it. They're centered out, at least this area, the region is centered out of Denver. So you've got to check around your groups. There's a publication, CB Charlie Bravo Driver.com. That'll give you a really good idea. Just go out there on the internet, do cbdriver.com. And what's good about that group is that you can get your resources, you can get yourself listed out there for free and let others know what's going on. That's how I got this particular contract, plus the one from American Expediting. So it's a good resource to use, cbdriver.com. It's free and it's a good resource. And there's other things out there too. In the near future, I'd like to get a more of like a courier-based group out there on Facebook. We'll see how. I tried setting one up, but something didn't go right. But anyway, that's what happens. So that's what's kind of going on right now. Hopefully next week I'll give you a little bit more. My expediter friends are having issues getting loads. This is pretty consistent, which is good. So just keep those things in mind, folks. Have a great weekend, and I'll be talking to you later. Bye.